And we're back with another Lakers Fast Break podcast. It's Lakers weekend, and of course, Lakerholics Spotlight, a great part of Lakers weekend. It's Gerald Glassford coming right back at you. I am Jamie Sweet for this episode. He is out camping. Hopefully, he doesn't get eaten up by Cocaine Bear somewhere. Him and his family are having fun roasting hot dogs, maybe, cooking some s'mores. So hopefully everything's going well with Jamie Sweet. But go ahead and always, first and foremost, check out what they're doing today at Lakerholics.com. Also, as well, of course, I do a few shows according to the Lakers Fast Break. Please subscribe today to get the latest notifications on when we go live on the air, including Sean Grice, the Magic Man, post game for Team USA versus Slovenia. So go ahead and check that out. There's going to be no Luka Doncic, so the Team USA should have a better time of it. So go ahead and hear what he has to say later on today. Plus, also, if you subscribe, you get the latest notifications on when we go live on the air with the latest Lakers Fast Break. I also host the Pop Culture Cosmos, two great shows each and every week. We just dropped one yesterday, so go ahead and check it out today wherever you get your podcasts. Inside Sports Fantasy Football is around the corner, and that's coming up as well, and Game Source. I hope you go ahead and get a chance to check out all of our stuff, but please go ahead and check out Lakerholics.com, the latest article by LakerTom, the number one Lakers blogger that's up there, and the 5 things articles that Jamie Sweet will have back up and running when he gets done camping right there for you at Lakerholics.com. I'll tell you what, looking forward to a great weekend. Looking forward to a great conversation, but here today to talk about Anthony Davis because since he signed the largest ever NBA extension, everybody's been talking about what he's going to be doing going forward. And here today to talk about that is the number one Lakers blogger that's out there. It is LakerTom. And LakerTom, great to have you here. I wanted to go ahead and make sure you have a Jamie Sweet to your LakerTom this weekend. So didn't want you to feel left out or deprived of a good conversation. So I thought I'd go ahead and check in with you today on Lakerholic Spotlight.
Always appreciate it, Gerald. We go back a long ways,
Yes.
and it's always satisfying for me to see how far Lakers Fast Break has come from those first few episodes that you did, what, 3 years ago or 4 years ago?
We started in 2019. So we actually
2019. Wow.
got on the train in the summer of 2019 is when I first started it. So I caught on in the right at the right time, so to speak. So that was like lightning in a bottle in that first year. I know it went by so quickly, even though we did have the unfortunate
I
incident.
remember the first email I got from you, and I said, you know what? That is a great name that this guy's come up with, and to me, that immediately piqued my interest because I said, Gerald must understand something about what's going on, because when you go out and look for a name for a Lakers based product that you're trying to promote, whether Lakerholics or Lakers Fast Break or whatever, um, there are so many names that have been taken that it's just almost impossible to come up with, to find one that hits a niche that's just perfect for the game, for the way that you have, I think, have exploited that. You've turned Lakers Fast Break into a fast break with so many episodes with so many great people. So congratulations, Gerald, and let's just keep it rolling, man.
Well,
I'm just
805
I'm just
Hike.
happy to still be a small part of it.
You're a great part of it, Tom. Thank you. Big shout out to 805 Hiking, who is one of our first subscribers, still checking in, still watching us, and is truly appreciated. It is something that we're trying to build and trying to get into the upper echelon of those Lakers shows. I know that I've seen our show mentioned a couple times now on some message boards, so it is getting out there to people that we don't have just that local base. We're so happy that we're known around the world in the Philippines, South America, UK, Australia. Just so great to have so many people, Canada, of course. So it's so great to have so many people around the world liking us here at the Lakers Fast Break. I'm truly humbled by it, but definitely growing, getting closer to that magical 1,000 mark in subscribers on YouTube. And we're just grateful to the entire community here at the Lakers Fast Break. But
For sure, for sure.
I will tell you, though, it is something that Lakerholics have been talking about, the conversation between you and Jamie and the rest of the community at Lakerholics. I got the chance to check it out in the past few days. Again, your latest article, please go ahead and check it out in more detail because I can't do it entirely justice. That's Anthony Davis needs to play power forward to unleash his full potential. Darren, to clarify now that I'm not dozing off, just because you're a fan, that does not make you an expert at basketball. I believe that is the proper way to express my point. Okay, well, there you go. Well, there's your opinion. You're entitled to it. I'm not an expert at basketball. I just follow it closely, and I think I can give people out there a great opinion on it. But that's your thoughts, Darren. This is ours. So, you're always welcome to go ahead and watch anytime you want. And when you do, it's greatly appreciated. And also express your opinion right there in the best Lakers chat room that's out there, the Lakers Fast Break. But I feel that we give better personalities and better opinions than virtually any of those shows out there that call themselves experts, that call themselves in the know, because they're not willing to call it like they see it, like here at the Lakers Fast Break. Sean says, great personalities on this show. Just wish that I had found out about it before 2023. Well, we're glad that you found out about it now. We're just truly humbled by your response there. And thank you so much for doing so. 805 Hiking, getting to 1K is the hardest. Then it grows a lot faster. You'll grow to 10K as fast as you did from 0 to 1K. That's what happened to my Instagram page. Yeah, 805, I did a lot of research in the past couple months in regards to that. Virtually every single YouTube channel that has one of those instructional videos about this was my first check, or this is my first feedback from my YouTube page. They always give you those type of videos now, and the first thing they always say is it is so difficult to get the first 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. But again, each and every one of you that has subscribed, we are truly humbled to go ahead and have you here. Darren says, I did not mean you. It was actually the way the conversation was leading last night. No worries, Darren. Believe me, it just rolls off the back as far as what anybody says. We're just glad to have you here, Darren. Joe's very opinionated. Sean is very opinionated. LakerTom, Jamie Sweet, L. Rob, he's been off doing some things this summer. He said he's going to get back in the mix. So I'm glad to hear that. Just everybody here, John, when he stops by. So again, even if everybody out there, if you think you can go ahead and come on and be part of the crew, as far as somebody that wants to go ahead and share their thoughts, we're always welcome to invite more people. We want to bring in as many voices to our community as possible. So I really, truly appreciate anyone who goes ahead and watches or participates here at the Lakers Fast Break. But it is Anthony Davis, LakerTom. You had an article. It's out there in detail at Lakerholics.com. About him needing to play power forward to unleash his full potential. Before I go in as far as my Jamie Sweet other side of the coin, half empty glass, half full glass, as we've always said on the show for years. At PMC, big shout out to you, my friend. Welcome back. I haven't seen you in a while. Good to have you here, my friend. LakerTom, tell me your thoughts in creating that article and why you think, again, the key for power forward. I'm not going to say I disagree with you to start off by that sense, because again, this is something that makes him happier. He has said that repeatedly, but tell us why that you think that playing power forward will release ultimately his full potential.
Well, I think you have to start with looking at everything that's going on with the Lakers. We have a 38-year-old superstar who is committed only for one more year with the team. This could be LeBron's last year.
Or he could now be waiting for Bryce.
Which puts him really down the line. But here's the thing that's going on with the Lakers, which is really fascinating. They're putting out pretty straightforwardly that they want to play two bigs, which means Anthony Davis moves to power forward and probably, Jackson Hayes starts at center. Now, it's not going to be like a regular starter. It's going to be like JaVale McGee was and Dwight Howard was, He'll start the first half, and when they take him out, after 7 or 8 minutes, he won't come back in until it starts the second half. But it's a way of getting more size, of creating positional size on the team. And it's a way of reducing some of the banging that Anthony Davis has. And as you said in your introduction, Anthony wants to play power forward. Um, the article
Even though he now
before
has a
the article
physique.
before this article is actually even
Yeah.
more. Obviously, I love nothing more better than an out of the box response to something going on.
Mhm.
So the article before this, I basically came out and said, from everything it looks like, it's almost as if they've promised Anthony Davis that you're going to play power forward going forward with this team because that's what you want to play, and because we want you to sign that extension, and we want to go forward with you as the face of the franchise. You're the guy who's going to be here when LeBron's gone. LeBron now needs to catch up with your contract instead of the other way around. But what it comes down to, I think, is also an understanding of where the game is today. The Lakers' biggest problem is that they do not have a superstar small forward, point guard, or shooting guard. And that's where the league is gone. It's not a power forward and center league anymore. It's the guys. Why does Joel Embiid have a hard time? Because somebody's got to get him the ball, and it's pretty easy to double team a guy, and or we can go out and shoot from three. So the Lakers basically want. If you look at the size of the players and the skill sets, what they want Anthony Davis to do is to beat Kevin Durant. They don't want him to be Joel Embiid. They want him to be Kevin Durant. They want him to be the guy who has the ball in his hands. I think you'll see him bring the ball down a lot more this year. I think they want him in a position so he can get more shots, more touches, have more freedom, have more space. You cannot go forward, for example. You can't have LeBron and AD shooting so terribly from three-point shots with AD not taking any and LeBron taking way too many. They got to find some balance there. And so I think that there really is a commitment from the Lakers that they want Anthony Davis to be a power forward going forward, partly because that's what he wants to do, and partly because they feel that that will unleash his game. Playing center the last 2 years, and last year he played almost 100% center, has really hurt his game. He's lost his jump shot, and he's lost his three-point shot because he doesn't take them anymore, because he's focusing on getting nothing but stuff right into the rim and in the paint. He's become less of a threat as a result of it. Now guys don't guard him when he goes outside, and they just even crowd for LeBron even more. So he's going to, I think he's got to go back. I think they got to tell him, like Frank Vogel did, take 5 shots, take 5 threes a game, get it out there on the space, show that you're the 3-level scorer that you were, be the great player you can. We can find other guys who can rebound and so forth and complement you. And we saw you saw him play power forward in the finals against Jokic, simply because that's a better way for him to use him on defense. And offensively, he needs the freedom to be able to move around, and he needs to get back the confidence to be the player. We take the roughest shooters who are big men coming into the league today, and we try to get these guys to learn to be stretch fives. You see Rudy Gobert out there firing away from three. You got a guy who had, in the playoffs, shot 38% in 2020 to win the championship. And the last thing you want to do is to take that shot away from him. Take that versatility. Take that 3-level ability to score. Take that ability to separate himself from everybody else in the league. And you want to take that away from him and park him down underneath the key? That's old school basketball. It doesn't work in the NBA. The 3-ball has to be coming from LeBron and AD. They have to have 3 other shooters on the floor with them, but you cannot play Anthony Davis at center and limit what he's going to do. Even if you play him at center, you still have to have him shoot threes. And this whole thing about just trying to pull back, or that he can never shoot threes again, when you got all of these guys, like, it's such a silly argument. You can argue very much whether Anthony Davis should play the 5 or the 4. That's an argument that I can see the points on both sides. What you can't argue is that Anthony Davis needs to get back to having a full court game again. He needs to be able to shoot threes. He needs to take long twos. He needs to be able to have that flexibility and versatility that made him such a lethal player before. The Lakers need a top 5 version of Anthony Davis, and he can't do that playing center.
Once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. It is Lakers Weekend and Lakerholics Spotlight. Truly appreciate you joining us. Go ahead and make sure you stop by Lakerholics.com for the latest articles from Jamie Sweet and, of course, the #1 Lakers blogger that's out there, LakerTom. So, LakerTom, you stated a good point, and I know it is his desire to still play the power forward. He has stated that over and over. But before I go into the shooting, before I go into
let me ask you one quick question first.
Okay.
How many superstars in the league are playing a position they don't want to play?
Not too many.
Or let me rephrase that. How many aren't playing the position that they want to play?
Well, again, he is probably one of the few at his level that is being forced to play a position.
I think he's the only one.
Well, let's start with the man in himself. Anthony Davis, when he came into the league, very slight of build, 6'10", coming in there, needed to play more of a power forward, worked very well with DeMarcus Cousins when DeMarcus Cousins was still healthy in New Orleans. Then again, he started to age up. He started to grow stronger. He started to get bigger and bulkier. He still was able to go ahead and be very flexible during the Lakers title run. But it is now, 10 years plus into his career. Actually, when you take a look at it, I'm looking at here, he has 11 seasons right now in the NBA. He is no longer that slight of build individual that he once was. He is now a firm 6'10", 6'11", 250, 260. That is not something that can go ahead on an 82-game basis normally, unless you're LeBron James at a younger age, and be able to go ahead and play power forward consistently. His body, his physique is now more suited to the center position. That's the first thing. Before we even go into shooting or fit or anything of that nature, the man himself he's now the 20s are in the rear view mirror. He is now on the other side of 30, and we've already signed him to this contract. I get it. I understand being beaten up by centers is going to be a little bit more taxing, a little bit more physical, but LakerTom, this is not the individual that is still once the guy that was 6'10", wiry, and able to go ahead all over the floor like he once did. He is now, again, a modern NBA center at 6'11", 250, 260 that needs to go ahead and
he's still going to play. He'll still play center half of the time because he'll be the backup center in that particular situation, and he'll close games. The prayer here. Let's look at the reality of how much he'll really have. Anthony Davis played 100% center last year. 100%. In the championship season, he played 60% center and 40% power forward. And that formula came because basically what happened is he became the backup center. So they really flipped it. They took JaVale McGee, who was really the second grade center, and they put him at the start of the first half and the start of the second half. And that's what that's what I think they're going to do with Jackson Hayes. Or if they're lucky enough to get Wood, they'll do that with Wood. But when listen, I can buy the argument, and we can find a lot of things to agree upon with the claims that we don't want LeBron James playing the 3. Okay, although I do think that's overrated because the number of minutes that he'll have to play the 3 are only the minutes that potentially that you're going to have Jackson Hayes pays, which is 10, 15 minutes a game. So maybe LeBron ends up playing 7, 8 minutes on the 3. And frankly, Anthony Davis can probably cover the same guys that LeBron would cover in that particular situation. It doesn't have to be. And if one of the centers is a non-shooter, then you just put LeBron on it. But at any rate, the argument about Anthony Davis' body, the problem Anthony Davis has even at 260 pounds is he doesn't have a low center of gravity. He's not Joker's just going to let him bounce off of him. He's just going to move him. And you look at Hachimura, for example, can do a better job of keeping Joker out of the paint than AD can. And it's because of the center of gravity and the player's ability to play down low. I think the Lakers right now are in excellent position. They'll wait for Wood. If Wood doesn't come, then they'll take Biyombo, and that'll be great. Biyombo will be perfect. Biyombo, listen, they have to have somebody. If you don't want to bet on your backup center. See, think about that. If what the Lakers are going to do is Biyombo's never going to play because the backup center is going to be Anthony Davis. He's not going to play
then
power
why
forward.
give someone who's a stiff who only shoots 37% from the free throw line?
Because he has because he is the second best percentage defensively at the rim of all of the players that are available.
He's
an excellent defender. He's an excellent defender.
If he's so great, then why did Phoenix keep him when they need someone that has a backup center?
Who knows why Phoenix does anything? I don't understand why.
He is past his prime. He shoots 37%.
I actually don't think that the Lakers. I think that the Lakers basically need to use their 14th and 15th spots for stretch 4s and 5s.
I don't disagree with you there, but it needs to not be beyond.
Listen, there's a couple of guys. There's a couple of guys. I want a guy who can shoot. I want a guy who can stretch the floor, because the Lakers have done an excellent job of improving the guard and wing shooting. But what they don't have and what they haven't improved is their 4 and 5 shooting. Their front court shooters. Their front court shooters are terrible 3-point shooters, primarily because LeBron hoists 7 or 8 threes a game and shoots 30%. And then AD shoots 25% and hardly shoots it. So we don't have anybody in the front court who can really threaten. And that's what we really need from Christian Wood. It would be a lot. It would really help the team. But, Anthony Davis, why do you think the team is still talking and still all of the words coming out of the Lakers are that they're going to run 2 bigs? I mean, that pretty much tells you that it comes down to what you just sign Anthony Davis to an extension that's going to carry him now 5 years. He's committed to the team for 4 years for sure, and has a player option on the 5th year. He's going to be 34th at the point when he has that last option. So all of a sudden, all of the talk is he's not going to play center anymore, other than as backup center. We're going to play 2 bigs. We're going to go back to that lineup. That tells you 2 things, I think. Number one, that they want Anthony Davis to shoot threes again, because you're not going to move him to power forward unless you're going to let him fire away. And number 2, that he's going to be the backup center, because he's going to still close games, because there is nobody better to close games than at the 5 than Anthony Davis, and it doesn't matter who else is playing. Maybe if we play Joker, you'll put a big in there just to balance it out. But I think that I just don't see us not playing 2 bigs, and that pretty much says that Anthony Davis plays power forward. So then the big question becomes, and this is where really I think this whole discussion goes, is how do you handle LeBron James having to play 3? Or do you actually, and I've seen several lineups show this, that they show Anthony Davis playing the 3 on defense and LeBron playing the 4 on defense. That makes a lot of sense to me. The advantage that Davis has is that he does not have to stay as close to guys. For example, he can trail a guy into the key and block his shot. He can give a quicker player on the perimeter room. I mean, I just watched him the other day on a Twitter feed spend about a minute guarding Steph Curry 1-on-1, and it was just fabulous. It was impossible for Curry to get off a clean, easy look. So there are always ways that you can do it, but I think that that's where the only real argument against the Lakers playing 2 bigs is the shooting argument and the LeBron at the 3 argument.
Once again, it is Lakerholics Spotlight. It is LakerTom and Gerald Glassford. Thanks so much for watching and listening. Truly appreciated. Sean was asking about trying to go ahead and see if we fill out the roster with Wood and Biombo. They have different skill sets than that would help at the 4 or 5. Biombo is a beyond no for me. Again, I just really think that now that he's on the wrong side of 30 himself, and the fact that his athleticism has waned a little bit, plus his free throw shooting has gone into the toilet. I just don't see any advantages for it. And again, if Phoenix decided to go ahead and pass up on him, that tells you something right there. I will say though that they're probably going to keep the 15th spot open because of salary cap reasons, and also for a possible trade or buyout later on in the year. They probably Most teams are looking forward to doing that just because, again, just trying to save money off the cap. They're looking to go ahead and get a 14th. They could be waiting for training camps to fill out, some people to be waived, and maybe look at getting a big guy then that might be on someone's roster right now. So that could be another possibility. Or again, they still could be waiting for Christian Wood. We'll see what we're
Well,
going to
there's
go ahead.
changes. There's changes we're under the new CBA now, so there's
Mhm.
also some changes that.
Well, the Lakers are barely under the
Yeah,
first apron as
right.
right
But
now as we
but
speak.
teams that are over the first apron won't be able to sign buyout candidates.
Mhm.
So that makes a big difference. And then the other thing that makes a big difference is that teams like the Oklahoma City Thunder have got like 22 players on their roster, and they got several. They got two stretch five rookies basically that the Lakers could look at it and with some interest, guys that have some skills. And then also too, unlike other years, the league requires every team to hit that 90% salary cap mode, spend that much money, and they have to do it on day one of the year. So there are likely to be a lot of cuts right around training camp or right before the start of the season. So you see a lot of teams making changes at the last minute, and the Lakers probably are going to hold that 15th spot
They could
open
even
just to
hold the
see it.
4th spot realistically on that if Christian Wood doesn't bite.
Yeah, I think they can, because right now they have a 10-man rotation. If they start they have a 10-man rotation as it is, basically. Whether they start Hachimura or whether they start Hayes or whether they even started Vanderbilt. That's still, they have a 10-man rotation, and they got 3 guys on the bench, which are the 2 rookies and Cam Reddish. And Reddish may be the biggest threat to move into the top 10. I don't know who he'd replace. Maybe we just see an 11-man rotation, and fewer minutes for LeBron and AD. That's one thing that Reddish could do, which is reduce LeBron's minutes. That would be good to see. I mean, I'd like to see them. I'd like to see load management, like LeBron and AD, 30 minutes a game, unless it happens to be a nail biter or something like that. I'd like to keep them down there.
John, they'll probably go ahead and fill out the roster with that 14th spot. They'll probably leave one spot open again, but they'll most likely only be able to sign that individual to the veterans minimum. That would probably be the only way that they're going to go ahead and do that. But I think that's what they're doing. They'll have a 14th spot, like you said. A 14th spot has to be filled, so they will most likely.
May not happen until right before the start of the season, though.
Yeah, and they'll get somebody, but they'll have 14 spots. But 15, I think they're going to leave open. Worst comes to worst, and they don't like what they see, and they don't get Christian Wood. They could just go ahead and bring up one of the two-way guys in a pinch and put them on a full time. We've always talked about Demoy Hodge since his great showing in Summer League. Castleton, even though we think he needs some more time, and right now he's a foul waiting to happen, he still has such a great future as far as a distributor and doing other things around the basket. He has some unique skills. He, again, in a pinch, if the Lakers don't like what they see, they can go ahead and give them a full year contract at the last minute. So that's something they always have in their back pocket right there. But one thing I do want to ask you, though, is, again, we've talked about his physique and about the way he's set up now as opposed to what he was as a younger player. Anthony Davis, and we talk about the LeBron factor. And before I get back to the shooting, because again, it all comes back to the shooting, I think LeBron James he is 38 years old. He is not getting any younger. He is someone that During the season, he paces himself. And where he usually paces himself is not running around screens and not running after wings and letting those wings shoot pretty much how and whenever they want. And to have him, being able or being forced to play the three and play against wings, I just feel this is such a liability. He needs at this point in time in career to play the predominant amount of minutes at four, or do you move him back like old school 2020 and move him back to the one where he stays outside? Although that to me is a little bit kind of a step back, because you're talking about a 6'9", 250 player that you're having on the outside. I really think it's best for him to play the four, which AD, I'm not telling you it's not the best position to play for AD to play at the four. I'm just telling you when you have a LeBron James playing,
Mhm.
he's got to play at the four. He cannot chase wings 82 games a year for 30 minutes a game.
No, I agree with that 100%. I agree with that 100%.
So
So
now
let's
you have
say,
that problem. You have a
okay, no,
problem.
let's look at let's look at where the real problem is first, because I don't think it's as bad as you put it. It's not 30 minutes a game. And then secondly, what can you do? So the 30 minutes a game, let's say that we're going to start Jackson Hayes and he's going to play 8 minutes in the first half and 8 minutes in the second half. And let's say that you put LeBron in to start, and let's say you pull him out at 6 minutes. So he's going to have 12 minutes when he's going to be on the court with that same guy. Okay, so what do you do to change defensively? One of the things that the Lakers have done, and I think we're going to see a lot more of this year, is I think that they're going to switch everything. Because the problem is that when you trail guards in this league into the key, and you can't, when you get screened, when you get picked, and you're aggressively going to stay with that guy, you're going to trail him in there, he's going to get you on his hip. And then we're playing a drop coverage, which means that the center's not going to come out. That means that little floater is going to be available, and we're getting killed by that. So the best way to defend that is if you have big enough guards, which we will now, we'll be starting 6'5" and 6'5" guards, and you have bigs who can move their feet. Okay, and LeBron can move his feet, and these other guys can move their feet to stay in front of guys. Then what you want to do is you want to switch everything. Now, eventually, they're going to go what? They're going to try to switch over, and they're going to try to pick on Reeves. They're going to try to pick on LeBron. Just depends on the matchup. So that's one half of it that you can adjust. Then the second thing is, I don't care what LeBron does on defense for that 16 minutes, because I know he's going to outscore that sucker 2-1 at the other end of the court, unless he's playing against another superstar. So that's, he can go down and abuse somebody at the other end of the court to make up for anything he gives up on the offense, on the defensive end. So you've got to put those things into perspective and understand that this is a matchup situation. There's always a matchup situation. And how many times do you think the guy that LeBron is guarding is going to outscore him for the game? It's just not going to happen, man. That's why this thing is all just a silly
You say
exercise.
that, but this is LeBron at 38, who should be playing less minutes than he's ever played in his career.
So put Anthony Davis on him. 80's a power forward. Let him guard that guy who's going to run around. That's a fine solution.
So you want AD playing wings?
Just let him know. What is he going to score? How is he going to go? Let him. He's going to run around screening picks, and you're going to have a guy who's going to nail that 10 threes. Okay, so if it's Buddy Hield, let's see, what small forward is he going to do? What small forward cannot LeBron guard? Give me the examples that are going to kill it.
Well, I just say he can't guard because he feels spry like once every game, or if somebody talks smack to him, he'll feel spry.
Well, he'll do that. I'd do that on 2 or 3 plays at the end of the game or the end of a half.
He'll do a throwback 5 minutes where he's he's getting in everybody's face, and
But at the same time, he's going to say, if I'm playing this guy at 21. Yeah, I'll let him score 10 points. He's going to score 10 points on me because I'm not going to try on defense. But he's not going to stop me at the other end. I'm going to just take I'm going to take him apart at the other end.
Well, let's
make him work at the other end.
Well, let's just take the second game of the year, for example, which is going to be Phoenix Suns coming to LA.
Okay.
And you have Beal, you have Booker, you have of course, Durant the first time that he's matched up
So you
against
want him to
LeBron.
play? You want LeBron to play power forward and guard KD, their power forward. Okay, yeah, that's going to be good.
Well,
KD
again,
never uses a screen. Yeah, never uses a screen. Never comes off a screen.
okay. Actually, you should. Well, that's going to be a problem for the Lakers. And DeAndre Ayton down low playing. Who does Anthony Davis guard?
Anthony Davis guards the power forward, KD.
So who guards DeAndre Ayton?
DeAndre Ayton, got Jackson Hayes or
Oh,
Jackson or Wood.
that's a mismatch waiting to happen right there.
I'm not worried about DeAndre Ayton.
That's going to be Lob City for them.
I don't know. I don't think it is going to be Lob City.
All right, whatever. Okay.
I mean, but what I'm saying is when you give me the matchups, you see that those matchups exist in all of the games, and you can always cross defend. It's our 5 guys against your 5 guys. How do we want to match up? And we can always switch everything to make it easier to prevent guys from penetrating and getting to the rim. There are adjustments. You can beat them at the other end. You can beat them up on offense and force that guy off of the court because he can't defend you. All of those things are small excuses for what looks to be a major decision by the Lakers that Anthony Davis is going to play the 4 and we're going to play 2 bigs. I mean, they thought that last year and said the same thing last summer for the same reasons, except for the extension being around. But the 2 bigs just couldn't cut it. And Bryant and Jones, weren't good enough. So they ended up having to revert back to Anthony Davis at the 5. This year, I don't think they're going to have that problem because I think already they feel that Jackson Hayes is good enough that they can do that. And if they can get Wood to be the offensive version of Jackson Hayes, defensive version, then they have a perfect setup, to play 2 bigs. And I think you'd see a combination of depending on the matchup. Maybe if it's a tough defender, they'll want to put Wood in or put Hayes in instead of Wood. I think Hayes is going to be a better defender at this point than Wood is, even though he's got his blemishes at that end of the court too. Mostly which are just attention and focus, that type of stuff that young players have a problem with. So I think that the Lakers have made a big decision. The whole thing. I mean, I even saw Jovan Buha come out with a whole article on why the Lakers are wrong to taking your side on why the Lakers are wrong with this. What is this 2 big crazy thing going on? But what is it going on?
AD playing the 4 is what he wants, and which would be great. But the thing is, when you have a team like Phoenix,
so why are the Lakers pushing it though? Because don't you agree that they appear to be pushing it?
Rui Hachimura, Sean, great point. I mean, I've said before, Rui's best suited to come off the bench. I think if they start messing with that, I think it's a
so. What you think? Vando's going to start?
I think Vando's going to start, which puts LeBron at the 4. So against a team like Phoenix,
I think there's a better chance that Rui starts. See, in a way, when you talk about the 2 big lineup, one thing that nobody ever includes is Rui in that 2 big lineup. What do you think what do you think we played against the Nuggets in the finals?
I just think he's so much
We
better
played a 2 big lineup because Rui can play that second big. So I think there's a better chance of Rui starting than Vando if we don't go 2 bigs.
Well, that's the $17 million a year talking. I'm not if Rui starts, that's the $17 million a year.
Yeah, talking. And how about $186 million talking too?
Again,
as to who gets to play their preferred power forward position. The guy who just signed a $186 million extension is going to be here for 5 years, or the 38-year-old guy who's only guaranteed to be here for 1 more year.
I'm going to say, Darren, when it comes to you're hoping Hayes has a breakout year. I think we all are. That changes everything. That if he does, if Hayes has a great year, then if he plays like he did in New Orleans, then he's a backup center.
But they think there's a strong belief. I think that they believe they can turn Hayes into what they want. I think they really believe that.
New Orleans thought that too, but
New Orleans hasn't been able to even keep Zion from getting fat, man. Come on. That organization has shown just terrible management at this point in time.
Well, okay, if we use on Zion, that I could give you that, but they have some great young talent. Herbert
They should be
Jones,
a much better
Trey
team than
Murphy
they're
the
showing.
third. And I agree, Darren. Again, the sixth man off the bench, I think he will thrive. Rui will off playing against second teams coming off the bench. I think he will absolutely thrive. When you start him, you're going to get limited results. I really think you're going to get limited results if you start Rui. Vando, especially against a fit like the Phoenix Suns. I think there's no choice. You have to start. The Vando is the
They're
best
going to play
option.
5-on-4 against us all game long. Every time they have the ball, every time we have the ball, it's going to be 5-on-4.
Well, what do you talk about the other individual?
Vando is Ben Simmons in the key, and he's Dwight Howard from the corner.
Okay, well, just like you're asking about Jackson Hayes developing, why aren't you saying the same thing about Jared Vanderbilt? Couldn't he have the same chance and opportunity to develop too? Couldn't he be working hard in the gym and hoping that we can get some kind of return this season for him?
Well, I think the biggest problem with Vanderbilt is not his 3-point shot from the corner. I think that can be fixed, and I'm hoping that it will be fixed. I mean, he shot 30%. That's not terrible. But he's got horrible mechanics, and he shoots it over his left shoulder. Now he's shooting it straight on, so that should help. But the biggest problem with Vanderbilt is unless he's got a clear layup, he cannot score in the paint. He throws the ball out every time. He's like Ben Simmons. He's afraid to go up because he gets a shot blocked. And that's why Handy's working with him now on that and hopefully can solve that. But it's a lack of aggressiveness. If he was as aggressive on offense as he was on defense, that's great. I don't mind that. But, man, he's just left so many shots, so many easy layups behind just because of immediately throwing the ball out because I don't want to have the ball underneath here. And you watch during the season, he had the second worst plus minus on the team. The second worst plus minus on the team. And that didn't change. His minutes and his minutes reduced as he got into the playoffs. And the problem is that how can you play offense 4 against 5? You just can't do that, and that fifth guy just slides off of him and just clogs up the paint, makes it totally impossible. I don't care how many points in the paint we get and how many made free throws, we're not going to be able to get open shots. We have to find a way to have all 5 players on the court be able to shoot the ball. And the Lakers have done a good job in that. I'm in the middle of writing an article about the Lakers 3-point shooting and whether they really improved enough. And what's really amazing, and you look at the team now, when you look at the backcourt, we have basically 4 guys, 3 guards in Reeves, Russell, and Christie, and 1 forward in Prince, who are near 40% 3-point shooters that you can count on. And we have 2 guys in Gabe Vincent and Rui Hachimura, who, if they can shoot like they shot in the playoffs, will give us 6 solid shooters. But none of those guys are in the front court. In the front court, we got a guy who's shooting 25%, Anthony Davis, a guy who's shooting 30%, LeBron James, and a guy who's shooting 32%. LeBron's 32%, I think, and a guy who's shooting 10% in Jackson Hayes. Now, Hayes did shoot 33% on a fairly big number in last year, 2020, the year before last. So he's a 70% solid free throw shooter. So he's not. He took
57 threes. He took less than 1 3 a game in that year.
Right.
So that's not.
But he still shot 33%.
Always the optimist.
Well, listen, Gerald, there's a direct ratio in most cases between free throw shooting and your ability to shoot threes. And secondly, how many you shoot. Anthony Davis, for example, his number of threes went down dramatically this year, and so obviously his shooting percentage went down too. You lose confidence, you don't get a chance to get any rhythm and so forth. So the Lakers basically will shoot better. They jumped from I think they were, when they, at the trade deadline, we were averaging 10 and a half threes a game, made threes. That was last in the league. By the time, for the last 26 games after the trade deadline, when we added some shooting, we ended up improving dramatically. Then we ended up making 11.5 threes a game, and we raised our percentage from 34% up to 35. With luck, I think this year we can be up in around 36, 37%. Yeah. And that'll be dramatically better. And that's without adding anybody for the 14th and 15th spots who are good three-point shooters. So we have dramatically improved our ability to shoot from distance. There's very few, as a matter of fact, if you look at it right now, there's nobody on the team who doesn't shoot threes. The worst is probably, obviously, probably Hayes and Bando at this point in time.
Once again, it is Lakerholics Spotlight right here at the Lakers Fast Break. Lakers weekend, and hopefully you're having a great Lakers weekend, everyone. I just think at this point in time, with what Vando brings for you, may or may not bring for you, I think at least you got to start the season with him, because his skill set is such that if you don't start him, you may not find minutes for him at all in the rotation. I do want to mention, though, before we head on out, the shooting percentage. It comes right back down to it. You talked about it before. LeBron, he needs to go back to the 35, 36% shooter that he is at times during the course of his career, and not the 30 to 32% three-point shooter if he's going to take that many threes. And getting him to stop taking threes is going to be
I don't think you're going to see that.
Yeah, you're not. Yeah, Darvin Ham is not even going to approach that. Anthony Davis, though.
But I tell you, I think that what LeBron always does is he looks back at the last year at what he needs to improve most on, and he focuses on the offseason on improving that area. I'll bet you that when we get to camp, we're going to find out that what he's really worked on is his three-point shot, because he wants to continue to be effective. That's the simplest and easiest way to do that, is just to really hone in on that shot. And I think a lot of his problems last year on the shot were the health issues in the foot.
Actually, Zangerstein, no, that's not his only down year in his career as far as his stats, unfortunately, from the behind the three-point line. If you actually gauge and look at his career, his three-point shooting has fluctuated between 30 to 32% in years, and also 36%. I mean, earlier in his career, you've seen, like, for instance, his rookie year, 29%. His first years in the league were right around 32 in his third and fourth seasons. You also see later on in his career, like in his age 31 year, he was only 31% behind the arc. He was 34% with his first year in LA. He's gotten that up to almost 37% in his age 36 year.
How's the volume? What's the volume look like over the years? How's it been?
Well, it kept going up. It's now actually not this year, but his last year, the year before last, was the biggest year for him volume wise. That's when he averaged 8 a game. Last year he averaged 7 a game and 32% shooting. So again, it's all over the place. But if he can get a year like he was let's say the championship year. The championship year, he was 35. The next year after that, the year
but in the playoffs, he was even better than that.
He was 30. He was 36.5%. If you could get that, I'm not asking for prime Miami, for him, where he was 40%.
No, I'm projecting LeBron at about 36 and AD around 33.
Yeah. So Zangerstein, his shooting percentage is more than likely, if you look at the odds, more than likely to be under 35 than over 35. But if you could even get a 37% shooting year from him on 7 or 8 takes a game, then I would be happy with that. But when it gets back to AD shooting, AD 2 years ago, 18% from behind the line. Last year, 25% from behind the line. You're still asking someone that's well under 30 to take.
What did he shoot from the free throw line? What did he shoot from the free throw line those years?
What did he shoot? What did AD shoot from the 3-point line those years? For the
free throw line? Free throw line.
He shot 71% in the year he was 18% from behind the line. Last year, he shot 78% when he was 25% from the line. So that correlation between good free throw shooting AD and a 3-point shooting AD, they don't seem to correlate. His career 3-point shooting tailed off in the 2020-21 season because he's gone 26, 18, and 25. He did
They
shoot
really
free
tailed
throws.
off they really tailed off when his volume dramatically reduced when he played center.
Yeah, it has tailed off a little bit, yes, from his height at 30 at taking 3.5 a game. But I will say his free throw shooting.
You just don't quit on a guy. You don't quit on a super. Every superstar is going to try to shoot more threes, not fewer threes.
He's been shooting less free. He has been shooting less free threes. He's only shooting about one and a half a game. I will say his free throw shooting, the 78% is a little misleading because he was struggling for most of the year from behind the free throw line until it got to the playoffs. He shot very well from the playoffs for the free throw line. So I will give him credit when we needed the most during the latter part of this. When the Lakers made their rise, he started to make he and LeBron both started to make their free throws. And I'm hoping they'll carry that into this season.
Now, there is a definite correlation between if a guy is an 80% free throw shooter, the chances are he is going to be a 35%, 36% 3-point shooter. So 80 has that in him, but it's also where you are and what the opportunities. A lot of the shots, 3-point shots that he took last year were shots that were bailout shots, basically, because he didn't have anything better and the clock was running out and they had to get rid of the ball. The Lakers just, you spend a good portion of the time trying to get the ball to the Joel Embiids and the Anthony Davises when they're in the low post, and it's so much more difficult. It's why LeBron has always wanted to play on offense, wants to play point guard or small forward, because he wants to be out there where the ball is. He doesn't want to be one of those guys that's got to wait and make a great cut and beat his man and then hope that the guy sees you and hope he can get the ball to you. He likes to be the guy with the ball who can control what's going on. So I think Anthony Davis wants to be more of that player. His dream is to play the 3. That's his dream position. Not to play the 5, but to play the 3. So the compromise is let him play the 4. Play the 3 sometimes on defense and so forth.
Now, the one thing that has come back much more so this past season than the season before was his mid-range shooting, because his mid-range shooting he was well known for, and stats had him at above 40% for virtually his entire career. He two seasons ago he went down to 31% and looked absolutely miserable. But last year 45% almost. That's actually really good from 10 to 15 feet. That's actually what you want to see out of him. If you can get that kind of year where he's really comfortable in the mid-range, he doesn't need to go and stretch it out to the 3. He just needs to be consistent from the mid-range. That's his game.
Why not stretch it out to the 3 if he's capable of doing it? No, for any player in the league, Gerald.
He's not capable of doing it.
That's the ridiculousn't of your position. Any player in the league who can shoot a 3 will be a better player by integrating that 3 into his game.
But he doesn't even hit 25%, 26% in the past 3 seasons. How is he stretching it out to 3 if he can't make the shot?
Forget it, man. You don't understand the game. How important a 3-point shot is to spacing. You don't understand that. Spacing is absolute. Let's see what happens this year. Let's see what happens if the Lakers play 2 bigs or not. That'll answer your question as to whether I'm right or you're right.
Well, no, I'm not trying to argue with you, Tom. I'm just trying to tell you common sense. If he's there just checking up 3 missing threes,
that's good like is that? Saying 1 and 1 is 5, and that's common sense. That's what your logic is.
Tom,
like.
I'm not trying to make you mad. I'm just trying to tell you that you want AD shooting more threes. The statistics have him missing all those threes. How good is that for the Lakers if he's just chucking up?
Wait and see. Let's wait and see what happens. You're saying the Lakers are not going to start. You're saying the Lakers are not going to start 2 bigs. I'm saying the Lakers are going to start 2 bigs.
I'm not saying
the Lakers are not going to have Anthony Davis shoot 3s, and I'm saying the Lakers are going to have him shoot 3s. We'll see what happens.
Probably, if that's what they want, if that's what makes them happy, ultimately they're going to do that. But then again, we're going to have a situation where LeBron, he's chucking up 3s, and if he's not shooting them consistently, we're going to have a situation there where AD's on the other side also missing a ton of 3s. Is that what you want as far as them missing a ton of threes? Even more threes than before?
I
Is
think
that
we have
what
to
you
shoot
want?
more. I think we have to shoot more and make more threes. We need to make and take more threes. And we've taken the steps to do that. And we will, you will see it in the numbers. We will take and make more threes this year than last year.
Well, taking the threes is not the problem. The Lakers, although they're 27th
They will
last
make
year.
and take more threes than last year.
I certainly hope so. I said it before on this show in the past couple of weeks. If they got to
I will
above in the,
bet you some money then. I'll bet
I'm
you
not gonna.
dinner.
What?
Next
Yeah.
time I'm in Vegas, dinner. The
What's
Lakers will
what's the
make and take more threes, both numbers.
Well,
They'll
they were
take more and
27th.
make more.
I'm not going to take that bet because they were 27th in the league in 3-point efficiency last year. That's not far to go. That's not far down to go. If they move even to the top 15, as I just told you, that would
Okay,
be
how
a
about
miraculous.
how about we'll start with two bigs versus not two bigs.
That's up to the team.
Anthony Davis will start at power forward. Dinner in Vegas.
I'm not even. Again, that's up to the team. I just say when I say it's what's best for the team that I see. So again, if he wants to play power forward, he's going to get his wish. The thing is, though, if you want LeBron at the 3, that's going to be a problem for the team on the defensive end. That's
Minor
all I'm
problem.
saying. I'm not trying to get you mad, Tom. I'm not
Minor
trying to get you.
problem.
Okay, it's a minor problem. Okay, so you want also AD with his
No,
sparkling
what gets me
25%.
mad? No, what got me mad, Gerald, is the ludicrousness of making a statement that a guy who can shoot 80% from the line and shoot 45% from long twos should not take threes.
Oh, the statistics don't bear out. The past 3 seasons.
The past 3 seasons.
You want a guy that shoots.
There are reasons for that. 2 of those last 2 seasons were because he was not taking in very many shots because he was playing center and he didn't have any opportunities to play out behind the 3-point. So how, so
okay,
yeah,
so let me
all
ask
of
you
a sudden
this.
a dramatic reduction in the number of shot attempts, and he has an off-par season.
So let me ask you this. 3 seasons ago, which was the season after they won the championship, he shot his second most threes of his career at 3 a game, and he only shot 26%. So you're asking me to go ahead and ask him to do more?
No, but I sure don't take a guy who shot 38% in the playoffs the year before to win the NBA championship, and he shoots just 26%. And I'm going to tell him, don't you take any threes. That would be the stupidest, dumbest, most ridiculous coaching decision ever made.
Again, it's all about appeasing players.
It totally escapes any logical player development intelligence that somebody could have.
That's not true, Tom. Statistics bear out. Again, the statistics bear itself out.
So bet a dinner, Gerald. Come on, be a gambler, man.
No, the Lakers were 27th in 3-point efficiency last year. They don't
Bet
have
a dinner.
very.
He'll start at power forward. I'll bet you a dinner. He'll start at power forward. You take center.
Okay, fine. For there, we'll just go ahead and that. I think he'll start at center. Again, I'm not in the coaching staff. If he really wants to bark about playing center, about playing power forward, he'll get his wish. But I'll say he starts at center. I just say again, LeBron James being LeBron James at his age, being LeBron James, he's also got some pull, and he may not want to go ahead and play 3, and may not want to go ahead and chase around after wings. And again, if Vando starts, he has to play the 5. It's just that simple. But
Vando's not going to start. Okay. Want another dinner on that one?
No, I'm not going to say again. That's up to the coaching staff. We'll go ahead and leave it.
Well, no, we're talking about predictions.
Yeah,
we're talking about what's going to happen.
But calling me
not why it's going to happen or who's going to make it happen. Why it's going to happen.
But calling me stupid and saying I'm stupid, just when the statistics are right there in black and white and bold, you're having a guy that's average.
What is stupid is for anybody to take a guy who was 38% from 3 in the championship season the year before and turn around and say that you don't want him to shoot any more threes.
He's averaged 23% from behind the 3-point line the past 3
Never mind,
seasons.
Gerald. Okay, fine. I don't mean to call you stupid, but that idea is definitely needs a lot of work.
Well, it needs a little work in your end to realize that if it was a guard, okay, if it was a guard that shot poorly from, let's say Cam Reddish, who has not shot well from behind the 3-point arc, do you want him shooting more threes?
Yes.
Okay, well, there you go.
That's because I understand that 3-point shots, first off, you can't. It's what I
Tom,
told.
you know
What's what I
Tom,
tell all the kids I coached. If you don't shoot them, you can't make them. It's that
Tom, that's
simple.
right. Again, I am speaking to the guy who told me in one of the first shows that we did, he is a gunner. He was always a gunner back when he was
I
playing on the
never saw
court.
a shot I didn't like.
There you go. We'll see there.
Hey,
That's the
listen, I
mentality right
never
there.
said that I wasn't prejudiced toward the Lakers on every trade, or that I want
And that's
3-point
why we love
shooters.
you here on the show. That's why we love having you here on the show. That's
I want guys who are going to kill on defense and have a Kobe-esque approach for offense.
again, I was not trying to push your buttons. Well, maybe I was, since I'm the de facto
Come
Jamie
on, of
Sweet
course
for
you're
this
trying to
week.
push my buttons.
That's
That's all you
right.
ever do.
Well, I'm the Jamie Sweet for this week, so there you go. But hey, at least I'm not saying you're a Mavs fan. So there you go.
Oh yeah, that one. I can't believe that one, man.
Yeah, when Joe called me the Clippers fan last year, I was like, that one gets, when you're a Lakers fan devoting hours of your day to the Lakers and you're being called a
Yeah.
fan of someone else, that I think is a low blow. But I agree
Listen,
with
a
you.
lot of this is just all of us reading between the lines, And
Yeah.
what are you looking for when you read between the lines? Makes a lot of difference. When you read between the lines, you and I are not reading the same stuff, Gerald.
I'm just bearing out the
The stuff you
statistics
see
of it.
between the lines is different from what I see between the lines. When I look between the lines, I'm
Ultimately,
looking for the interesting stuff. Like, geez, did AD say, "I want to play the 4, or I'm not going to sign an extension"? I mean, that's could happen.
I'm
I
just gonna
don't
say,
think it happened, but
Tom,
I don't think it happened. But it makes a great story.
it's a players' league, and ultimately, what he wants to do, and what he forces the organization to do, he's going to do. If he says
And the Lakers have either decided that they better do that in order to keep him happy, or that that's a smart way to get on his good side, or that they think that that is the best way to win.
I mean, Sean Zangerstein, everybody out there, Darren, I'm just, and Blue Magic, PMC, everybody out there. I'm just gonna say, if Darvin Ham, if he walks up to Darvin Ham and says he wants to take more threes, doesn't matter if he shoots it at 23%. He's going to shoot more threes. I can't argue with that. Again, it's a players' league, and he's going to do whatever. Common sense be damned. If he wants to go ahead and play the 4, and he's going to force his way in there, of
He
course.
wants to play the 4 and he wants to shoot threes.
Shoot threes. He's going to do that. I'm not going to disagree with you there. Ultimately, it is.
Wouldn't you want to do that?
I don't want him shooting threes. If he isn't going to shoot at 23%, I don't want him shooting
Every
threes.
basketball player who's listening to this podcast, if you were Anthony Davis, what position would you want to play?
But the thing is, you got LeBron, and you've also got the fact, and again, it's a players' league. If he wants to do it, adamantly enough, and LeBron is willing to go ahead still and chase around threes, for at least the first part of the game before obviously substitutions and whatnot, that's fine. Okay, ultimately, I'm not so hard and definitive on my position that I don't think that's a possibility. Again, it's a players' league, so they'll go ahead and demand what they want if they want to, and they'll get ultimately what they want.
I
But
don't think he's demanding it.
again, if he isn't, we don't know behind the scenes. If he, and I just think right now,
I think he still feels the same way, that that's the position he would prefer to play, and he'd prefer to play with another big man. And I think the Lakers, knowing that LeBron's career is ending and the next half a decade basically really probably belongs to Anthony Davis, that they're going to do what they can to make sure that he's happy.
I
He's the
hope
main reason that, he's what's going to hold the team together, along with this great young roster that Rob has put together. We're going to make a transition that is going to be a far cry from the Kobe Bryant transition when LeBron James retires.
Well, him and LeBron have to play 65 games this season. Neither of them have reached that level as of yet.
No, they don't. They play 64 and it'd be okay. Maybe
60. okay.
maybe 55 even, it just depends when the games are, Gerald.
Seriously, Tom, we can't have LeBron playing 45, 56, 55 games like he has in the past 3 seasons, and then AD playing 40 and 30.
No, you
You
can't have
cannot.
both of them. But let's say that you had 80 play 75 games and LeBron play 40. I think you could still win if LeBron
Well,
is still healthy by the end of the year.
I mean, AD.
It's
He
it's
has.
all it's all timing. It's all timing. When does it,
I mean, I hope so because AD has not played more than 62 games in 6 seasons. So
right.
that's of great concern to me. And then with AD, with LeBron,
You know,
you know,
I can't
getting
help
him
but
ready for the
wonder.
playoffs is more a concern for me on LeBron.
I just love to see them play him, hold him. Why don't they just set a 30-minute limit on him?
Well, you and
We
I
got
both want to
such
see.
a deep team now that it's ridiculous not to do that.
Joe has mentioned that as well. I mean, everybody's mentioned that. Yeah. But then again, if
I
LeBron
feel like
comes to do,
the Lakers. Well, no, I can't complain about the direction the Lakers have gone, considering how the Yankees are doing.
yeah.
Um,
But if LeBron came to Darvin Ham and said, "I want to play more minutes," guess what happens? He plays more
yeah,
minutes, despite what he may be involved in the game and say, "I
right.
need to play the next extra 5 minutes here or extra 5 minutes there." He's going to play
But
it, but it might not be the best
wait,
for him
wait,
long
wait.
term.
There is a way. See, because we saw all of this conflict late last year with AD as to whether he was going to play in those games, and then they were saying, no, you're not going to play in back to backs and so forth. So there is, I think, the ability within the framework of the team and the power of the superstars. There is a way for the Lakers to basically announce at the start of the season, if they wanted to, that and to explain it just like this, that we're going to set a general time limit of 30 minutes per game on LeBron and AD. Now, that doesn't mean we can't change that on any particular game when we want to win that game, or if it's a close game or something like that.
And they'll tell you, they'll tell the
And
coach.
we're just in general going to be careful about their minutes, and then also to back to backs and so forth. It just depends on how competitive that game is and how important it is and where we are in the standings. But we want to conserve and preserve our superstars' health and willingness and ability to play late in the season. It's a smart move, I think.
All I say
Whether
is,
the NBA comes back and says, "Oh, you can't do that," et cetera, et cetera. I mean, they're fighting that whole thing, but yet nothing came in the new CBA that really solved that whole dilemma of, fans going to this game and LeBron not showing up, or AD not showing up, or Booker not showing up, or Durant not showing up. I mean, there's an amazing. Everybody talks about AD missing all these games, and the one tweet that just jumps out at me, where there's a tweet where he played more games since the championship series, since the 2020 championship. Then Durant did, Booker did, Clay did, Steph did, Luka did. I mean, there's like a list of 7 or 8 top 10 players who didn't even play as many minutes as supposedly street clothes Anthony Davis played.
been a great discussion. Tom has only called me stupid several times, which is absolutely so great
I'm
to
just
have
calling
that
your
coming.
ideas stupid, Gerald, not you. I
I
know
just
that
look at, I
makes it
just go
so
by
much.
the stats.
Doesn't that make it so much cleaner?
I go by the stats, Tom. The stats
Your
speak it
ideas
all.
are it's your ideas that are stupid, Gerald. It's not
That's okay. Well, again, I tried to go ahead and be a little bit
yeah.
antagonistic, like because I knew you would miss Jamie's sweet, so I thought I'd just go ahead and go get you. But I didn't want to get you that mad. I wanted to make sure you leave. That's a nice conversation that you'll be able to have a good weekend. I wish you and the wife a fantastic weekend. I hope you guys really have fun up there in Northern California. Some good weather hopefully is happening up there for you, but. Before we headed out, I wanted to go ahead and mention just after the game, the Team USA game, Sean's going to be on the air. I'm hoping we can find somebody to hang out with him. Hoping that Joe or anybody else can go ahead and hang out with him right there for the Team USA post game because they're playing against Slovenia here
What
in a
time is
little
the
bit.
game? What
It's at
time's the game?
12:30 on FS1. So tomorrow is 12:30 against Spain on Fox. So it's FS1 today, Fox tomorrow. So yes. Zangerstein says, remember in 2019, 2020, Lakers AD was awful in his threes and mid-range in the regular season. Then came playoffs, he was lights out because AD had the confidence in the year-round repetitions. He also had quite a few months off, Z. He had like 4 months off to work on his game. So that's kind of also here, there
Hey,
you
well,
have
how much time has he had off this summer, Gerald?
what, through 2.5, 3?
Maybe
He's been
4
working
months.
out. I know he's been working out.
Well, he's been boxing. It's the only thing I've seen.
Yeah, so I mean, so hopefully he's been putting up shots, and again, I'm hoping that he'll revert to a much better shooter than he has been in the past 3 seasons. If that's the case,
No,
it's all the more
I don't
better.
see Anthony Davis finishing his career as a low post center who doesn't shoot threes and long twos.
Oh,
We'll
yeah,
see.
it's up to, you know,
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
I didn't say it was going to happen. It's player empowerment. He'll do what he wants, and he'll go ahead and tell the coach what he's the highest paid player on the team. He'll do what he wants ultimately. So I'm not going to disagree with you. I'm just saying what's the best course for the team. But I didn't say
From
what he's
everything
going
you can read, the Lakers have basically said we're going to play. That's how we're going to play.
to.
Two
Okay.
bigs. So we'll see what
All right.
happens.
We'll see what happens indeed, but it is Lakerholics Spotlight. Great to have LakerTom here. Please, I highly recommend you going ahead and checking out his articles and following him on Twitter. I won't say X, but Twitter. It is at LakerTom. Yeah,
Elon Musk, man, I tell you, if I
yeah,
had a Tesla, I think I'd send that sucker back.
yeah. You and I both. My wife asked that the other day, and I'm like, no, I ain't buying a Tesla. I
I,
would like to buy an EV, but I don't want to buy a Tesla. That's for
yeah,
sure.
yeah, I
But
feel the same way.
now they're giving away, the prices are dropping, so it's getting harder and harder to say no because the prices are dropping so bad because everybody doesn't want a.
You know, and it's such a shame. You know, in a lot of ways, I've been spending a great deal of my energy over the last year on Twitter simply because it's a lot easier to to get 100,000 hits on an article and a tweet and get than it is in a lot of the other arenas. Um, Twitter is very strong for the Laker universe, and it just amazes me how that hasn't the way that it just Elon Musk's sort of entrepreneurial initiatives, his ability to hunch out what's going to be important is just combined with an amazing ability to poorly market, something. And what he's done to Twitter is just horrible. I've tried the meta version of Twitter, and I don't know. Maybe there's going to be a big
Threads.
super change. Yeah, Threads.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah,
I was looking at a Tesla the other day, and I realized they have no back bumpers. That's kind of scary to me if they take a
yeah, I
commercial.
know. There's no front bumper either, too, and it
Yeah, that's kind of scary.
reminds me of my 9/11 days where you either can't drive fast or you got to get a bra for your car in order to keep the rocks from doing dents all the front of the car.
Well, definitely we'll see what happens here. But follow LakerTom on Twitter /X/ whatever it is going to be next week, right there at LakerTom. He's also at LakerTom on Threads. Again, Z, I know you want everybody in the world to take the lineup to take more threes in the Lakers lineup. I just want them to be more efficient. If they get to place where they're in the top 15, that would be incredible.
Well,
For
just remember, Gerald, 50% from two is not bad, right? 33% from three is the same as 50% from two.
But we're forgetting is that how did they start the season? 30% was a mountain for them when they were shooting 20% as a team. Their first,
yeah, but
they were 2-10.
True, but we'll talk next Saturday about my article that I'm in the middle of writing, which
sounds good. All right, but please,
it's basically about the 3-point shooting and whether we've done enough.
Yeah, and I still have questions on that. But even if it's incremental,
well, we've started. We basically the article, and I've got some really great graphs and stats to show it. We really made great progress for the last 26 games, and our number of threes that we made, the number of threes that we attempted, and the percentage we shot was dramatically better. We jumped up to, for example, under made threes from 30th in the league to 19th in the league for the last 26 games.
Well, again, if they can sustain that,
Yep.
get it. Like I said, if
And
they can even
we
get
added
50
and we did add some firepower over the summer that hopefully can add to that.
incrementally, they were incrementally better shooters than what we got rid of. So I'm hoping again that we can incrementally get better. If you just look at the statistics, even if we get into the top 20, I think that's a market
Well,
improvement.
my actual prediction is that we can break into the top 10.
But that's without losing the things that have gotten us into the
with the
playoffs.
current roster, not counting Wood or any other.
We still have to remain an up-tempo team. We still have to get to the free throw line a
Still got
ton.
to play defense. That's all of those things still got to be done.
Yeah, still got to be done.
All we're talking about though is all of a sudden, instead of having a negative 3-point shooting differential, I think that we can actually end up having a positive 3-point differential, meaning we score more from the 3-point line than we allow. I think that's possible this year.
We'll see what happened. We'll see what happens. Definitely, indeed. But once again, it is LakerTom. Please go ahead and support him today by stopping by Lakerholics.com. Be part of that community. They have a great, nice little close-knit community that you can also be part of, where they go back and forth. They share ideas. You can also see the comments that LakerTom and Jamie love. They send each other on a weekly basis.
Join in the food fights if you want.
Yes. I don't think it'll get as nasty as everybody was hoping.
We don't really have food fights there.
Yeah, you did once, not too long ago. You had a pretty nasty food fight there. So let's hope it never gets to that point again.
Meatloaf's got to fly, man.
Despite what everybody in the chat wants, let's hope it never gets that nasty again. So please go ahead and join the conversation. Share your thoughts at Lakerholics.com. It is truly appreciated. Sean said, if LakerTom is right, then we're in for a great season. Let's hope we are. I think we are as well. I think we're going to be in for a very good season. Again, I just hope that the Lakers can improve incrementally, because if they make 2, 3, or 4 more 3-pointers a game on the same amount of takes or more takes that they go ahead and attempt, that's so much more efficient. That's so many more points. Plus, if they can keep the pace and the free throws and the defense that they had that got them into the playoffs in the first place, then there you go. Absolutely. Zanger Sign says, I trust Reeves' 3-point shooting, by the way, and Prince's money on the corner threes. Yes, if he stays on the corner threes, but reason why he shot only 37% is because he didn't shoot as many corner threes. He didn't stay in the corner. He started shooting threes other places. So he needs to stay in the corner and shoot those threes there. But then again, can he play good enough defense still at his, he's 29, so he still is somewhat in his prime. So hopefully he can go ahead and be a great part of the
third oldest player on the team.
Yeah, but thing is though, why did Minnesota let him go out of that $10 million contract? That still kind of bothers me that they didn't see enough value on him to go ahead and, yeah, Sean, you're right. I said it on the Taurean Prince profile we did a couple weeks ago. His defensive rating has gone in the toilet. All these guys that we got in, their defensive rating is at the lowest or near the lowest they've been. So hopefully they can get that back up under Darvin Ham. So that's what I'm hoping. So there you go. So once again, LakerTom, please support him at LakerTom on Threads and Twitter, and also as well, LakerTom at Lakerholics.com. Zagerstein says, I want D'Lo and Reeves to attack the basket more too. Rim pressure is still the key. Relying on threes is meh. Well, we'll see. That's the game that's out there. And I know we're going to be relying a lot on threes. Let's hope they're a little bit more efficient indeed. But they should rely a lot more on the transition and free throws, because that's what got it done for them last season.
What got it done for them in the playoffs was points in the paint and made free throws.
Again, transition, points in the paint. That's where it comes from. Yep. That's what it hopefully will continue indeed. But once again, it is LakerTom. Please support LakerTom today at Lakerholics.com. Well, a great discussion.
Thanks, Jamie. I'm sorry, Gerald.
Yes, there you go. Absolutely. I'll grow my hair out and start to play the guitar. There you go. But hopefully he's doing very well with the family this weekend. Hopefully he's having a great time camping. Darren says, LakerTom, I respect your opinion. And between Gerald, Zangerstein, and me, the big D is apparent that you felt you needed to defend your position. Absolutely. And again, LakerTom is always here, available to come here to go ahead and express his opinion. We wouldn't have it any other way. We don't want everybody, we don't want a show that everybody agrees with each other. That's a boring show. We want shows where we have.
I don't want everybody to agree with me.
Yeah,
That would be horrible.
just check out Laker
What kind of
Tom's
a
Twitter
world would
account.
that be, Gerald?
Exactly. That would be boring indeed.
It'd be a one hell of a Lakers world, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I mean, there's other Lakers shows. I'll let them all agree with each other. Here, we share our opinions, and that's what's best about us. So, thanks so much to everybody out there. We truly appreciate it. We're hoping you're going to have yourselves an awesome weekend. Remember, Sean Grice is going to be here later today. Hopefully, we can get someone to hang with him for the post game for Team USA. And we'll be back for more right here on Lakers Weekend and the Lakers Fast Break Podcast. Have a great weekend, everyone. Be safe.